So that was the crown at Horton-in-Ribblesdale. So today, day 2, 15 miles, mostly along old Roman roads, pack horse routes across the fells, into Hawes, where there's a bit more in the way of civilization. So 15 mile, 22k, not as taxing as yesterday, I hope, and the weather a lot cooler. Let's see what we find. Pen-y-ghent, lost in the cloud this morning. Soon would like to tackle it like that yesterday. So reassuringly, my guidebook says that most of the way today is like this, just rolling along between a couple of dry stone walls, and it just meanders. There's no huge fountains, fell, or Pen-y-ghent, rocks, crags and things to traverse on the way, and that's it's a bit of a relief, to be honest. What I'm finding, even on the start of the second day, is I'm unsure if I'm going to carry this amount of kit, because weather, what do you wear? Of an evening you need other clothes if everything's wet. Spare this, spare that. Can I continue and do the entire section I've chosen up to Greenhead while carrying this amount? 3 litres of water, because I'm going to need to drink. Less if I know there's rivers on the way, and where there isn't any facilities, it's potentially going to be jet boil and dehydrated meal, which means carrying more water if you can't find a stream, which means carrying more equipment. But I'm starting to wonder, even on the second day, knowing what's ahead of me, will I be able to finish carrying this amount? It's a long shot. We'll see how I feel by the time I get to Middleton. Might seem a bit daft after walking for about an hour just to throw your pack down and have 5 minutes, but even though you can make good progress on what is frankly an easy section of the route, I've come here to actually enjoy the experience, what it will do for me, what I will get out of it. It's absolutely still and calm and quiet. And other than some clouds rolling there over the shoulder of that next fell and a little clump of trees there, got a little tinkling river as it empties itself into another limestone hole in the floor. But just have a drink and just remember, this is why you've come here, if you're going to come. Oh, yes. Seems like a good place to stop for a break. Fantastic. Amazing. Just slips 50 or 60 feet down into there, and I don't want to get myself into a pickle. Isn't that amazing? Just more of the water coming off the fells, drilling their way through the limestone rocks underneath, making all these underground chasms. A bit of rain, but notwithstanding, I think it's time for a bit of a break. also worth noting, if you're going to do parts of this on your own, places like that, don't take too many risks. If I'd slipped there on the mossy bank and ended up down the bottom of that pit, who'd have found me and when? Right, let's carry on. So these ancient tracks continue rolling their merry way across these fells, and I'm rolling along with them too. Nothing too taxing, just another sloping green shoulder in the distance with others behind it, almost like the fells are sort of crowding between me and my destination. And I'm going to roll round and through and between, and as I can feel a bit of rain at the back of my neck, I think I'm just going to keep pressing gently on. I haven't come here to race, but I'm very conscious that potentially this afternoon the weather could really turn. Lovely. So, Ling Gill Nature Reserve. We're about 5 miles in of a 15-mile route today, and it's taken a couple of hours. Like I say, compared to yesterday, there might not be this, that, the other tarns, forests and eye-catching landmarks, if you will, but in its own way it's been, well, perhaps what was needed after that hot, dusty, and at the end quite strenuous day yesterday. Maybe this is what's needed. Yeah, beautiful. It rolls down from the fells just here. So as you can see, this is where the Dales Way, Ribblehead Viaduct in the distance there, meets the Pennine Way for a little bit, and we both chuff along over the next series of hills together. So I'm probably going to be at my close to highest elevation on this adventure today, and I think while I've got something fantastic to look at over my shoulder, I'm going to take 5 for a cup of tea. Oh, there's a breeze. Yes. Seen very few people on this route, and it's relatively easy to see why. It really is quite remote. There's a significant investment in taking part in a journey along it, but I have to say, for all its emptiness, it's in the emptiness, the solitude, the quiet, the beauty of it all that makes it all worthwhile. To spend the money, kit and accommodation, and then journey here, and you can feel as you go along the everyday worries lift away. You're carrying everything you need in your pack. Well, there we go. Continues down here across the fells and descends a bit, but I think even though the rain's starting to spot, I'm going to need a spot of lunch. So let's break out the jet boil, a cup of tea and maybe a meal. Fantastic. Let's find some shelter out the wind. So there we go, my dinner's on. I've got 5-pot posh pork and beans. That needs another 10 minutes just to stew. Cup of tea's ongoing. Jet boil doing its job. And just taking 5 next to a dry stone wall just to get out the wind. fantastic. Got everything I need. And the good thing is, the further I go, the more I eat and drink, the lighter my pack gets. I'm going to need it. That the old knee injury is starting to play up, but more pain relief. Okay, bon appetit. Do you know, it's not cordon bleu, but at least it's not bleu. It's still hard to remain unimpressed when you look at the rolling dry stone walls and they snake across every part of these fells. To consider the hands week in, week out, months in, months out to build these things, which are still here hundreds of years later. And those same hands have probably gone towards building this path to bring carts, like we said at the start of the video, across the fells with their wool and coal. And I for one have to say, you see them rolling across the fells, the edge of the forest earlier, we saw it at Camwood, but here just endless, picked up by hand and placed in that intricate style. So there we are, just getting off the beaten track a little bit, off onto a bit more of a grassy trod. So things looking lovely. I'm still staying ahead of that pesky spitting rain that's trying to chase me along. Yeah, all good. So less than 3 miles to go. I think the cloud base is trying to lift. Certainly over there it's cleared up a little bit, probably raining over there. The fells in the surrounding vistas, yeah, cloud base has lifted a little bit. So there we go, on and on. Great. I've learned a few things about what to pack and what to bring for next time, which I'll be putting into place after Middleton and Teesdale when I shed a lot of kit. So until then, going to soldier on and put my feet up in Hawes. It's been great. So pretty much the end of day 2. I can just see Hawes there, just at the bottom of this fell, and I think it's worth noting 2 challenges, particularly when it comes to strength on this trip: physical strength and mental strength. Mental strength to see the path you're on continue to climb up and up and up over another fell, another rise, with the path underneath being uncomfortable. Which brings me to physical strength. Yes, you can do some training, you can go to your gym, but I would say the cumulative effect of pounding mile after mile on the way, sometimes easy like this, easy, soft underfoot, and that long, gritty, winding track. And there'll be other different types of terrain and challenging in a way, the peat bogs around Tan Hill. So I would say plenty of pain relief is one thing, particularly if you're the typical view of my channels, people over 40 or so. But it also brings me to, there's only so much you can do. Yes, you have some pain relief, but crossing the fells here, mile after mile after mile, it's gonna have an impact. And something you can do about that, besides pain relief, is reduce what you're carrying. So I get the opportunity at Middleton but I would say that the least you carry, I'm not talking about shipping your stuff to the next place. We plan to do Offa's Dyke, the captain and I, half of it later on next month. So what I've learned here I will certainly be employing there. Oh, fantastic. So the fellas have just come over and all that's left is a bit of a jaunt through this hay meadow. It says walk in single file, there's only one of me. And I can just see chimney stacks and the church steeple of Hawes.